What's up guys, welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. In this video we're going to be cracking open a couple of the original 2 starter decks. Now I don't normally post opening videos on my channel because I don't open a lot of product, but I'm going to be cracking these 2 open for a couple of different reasons. The first one is that the seals on the boxes are already cut, so even though the contents are still shrink wrapped and factory sealed, they're not fully sealed decks. And the other reason is that these are not any ordinary starter deck Kaiba and starter deck Yugi. But these are both actually the Glossy Unlimited variety, which for those of you who don't know is extremely rare for the starter decks. So I picked these 2 decks up off Yu-Gi-Oh! 2, Tim, who I'm sure most of you are familiar with. So thank you to him for that. And yeah, let's get going with the opening. Alright, so I'll get things started with the starter deck Yugi. It's still in the original shrink wrap, as you can see. Just give me a second to cut the seals, and I'll be right back. Alright, I've got the seal cut, so now I'll get rid of this plastic. And here is the deck. Now, right off the bat, before I crack it open, the Dark Magician definitely has good centering. I think it does have a little bit of edge wear down at the bottom, but it doesn't look too bad, so I think we should be good to go. These are always a little tricky to open up, these seals on the back. And I do want to keep all of the commons from here in great shape, so I'll be as careful as I can with all of the cards. Alright. There we go. So, first off, let's take a look at this Dark Magician. Now, I do already own a Glossy Unlimited starter deck Yugi Dark Magician, but it's not in great shape, so this will be a big upgrade for me. And so far the card looks in pretty great shape. Yeah, that looks like a success. I don't really see any kind of issues on the card. So if I can grade the ultras from these as gem mint cards, that would be incredible for my own collection. Let me see the sleeve quickly. There we go. Alright, and then of course we got the 2 super rares. Soul Exchange and Card Destruction. And these both look in nice shape as well. I had a friend who cracked one of these last year and he actually managed to get a foil line on one of the supers, but it doesn't look like we got that error on any of these. But the more important thing for me is that all the cards look like they're in great shape, which is what I was looking for. Now, it's very difficult to put a valuation on these Glossy Unlimited versions because not many people know about them and not many people collect them. But at the same time, they are extremely rare. And from statistics I've run in the past, I would say they're about 0.5% of the overall print run. So about 1 out of 200 unlimited starter decks will be glossy print. So here are the commons, which have that really nice high gloss finish. I'd probably say Glossy Unlimited commons are my favorite commons ever printed in the TCG. They're just fantastic quality, and they're just great to hold. So yeah, this is the whole deck. I never understood why, but for the original 2 starter decks, the order that they put the cards in the factory does not match the order of the set. So you can see the first common is number 21, and they're all just essentially out of order. I assume it's because the sheet they put them on didn't have them in the correct order, and they just all came off the sheet like that, and they didn't bother to change the order around to make it match what it was meant to be. Yeah, so I'm sure you've all seen a starter deck Yugi and starter deck Kaiba opening before, so I'm not going to go through all the commons in detail because that would take a long time. But yeah, you get the gist of it, and that is the starter deck Yugi out of the way. So now we'll move on to the starter deck Kaiba. Alright, so now we'll move on to the starter deck Kaiba. Now, right off the bat, the Blue Eyes is definitely off-center for this one, so we're going to need a bit of luck for it to be able to get a gem mint grade overall in terms of the condition, because these starter deck cards do have a lot of issues right out the pack. So it was actually pretty lucky with that last deck we didn't get any kind of corner dings or anything like that, because I have seen that a lot. Alright, so drop the cards. I think they should be alright. Just give me a second to slip the cards again. Alright, now that's out the way. This one was a little more difficult to open because the flap didn't actually pop up. carefully try and remove the shrink wrap without damaging any of the cards. You can see why it's so hard to grade even the first edition cards from this run in Gem Mint, because this packaging is just a nightmare. So it's very easy, especially if you're just an excited kid, to damage the cards in the process of trying to get this packaging open. Especially with the Ultra being on the front, and that's pretty much the most vulnerable position for a card to be in with this kind of packaging. Okay, we're almost there. There we go. So, here's the big card of the whole opening, the Blue Eyes White Dragon. So you can see the centering is off, but it's not badly off, so I think the centering is good enough for a 9 at Beckett, which is where I'm going to be sending these 2 Ultra Rares to get graded. But we'll need the rest of the condition to be good. And I've got to say the front looks fantastic. I don't see any edge wear like the Dark Magician had, so that's a great sign. And onto the back. And yeah, we're looking pretty much good to go here. I'm not seeing any kind of issues at all. So that is a fantastic thing to know, because you never know when you're opening these old decks if you're going to get some scuffs on the back, some waxing, anything like that. And especially when the card's already a bit off center, it doesn't take much to knock the card below a Gem Mint grade. So here's the Flute of Summoning Dragon. Again, it's got pretty bad centering. I think actually even worse than the Blue Eyes. But that's okay, because I won't be grading anything except the Ultras. These will all just be going in my binder with the commons as well. But yeah, that looks, again, really nice. And we'll finish with the Lord of D, which again looks great. It seems like the centering gets worse on each card successively. This one would definitely be an 8.5 on centering from Beckett. But apart from that, the condition is still very nice, which, as I've said already, was the main thing I was interested in for these cards. It's pretty much impossible to find these Glossy Unlimited cards in good shape. They don't pop up much at all on eBay, but even when they do, they tend to be at least in moderately played condition, if not worse. They often have a lot of edge wear, all sorts of things like that. So finding actually clean examples of these cards is a real pleasure. And it's much harder to find these than it is for the first edition cards. Okay, so we've got the commons again. I'll just do a little slow roll through them. I gotta say, I never expected to find even a single Glossy Unlimited deck sealed. So the fact that I was able to find both of them at the same time, it's just incredible, really. And I couldn't be happier in terms of for my collection, because I have been hunting Glossy Unlimited cards for a long time. And I've had a little bit of luck with LOB finding pretty clean examples of those cards. But for the starter decks, I really never found any. So to get everything out of the way in one go all of a sudden is fantastic. And again, I've got to thank Tim, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube, for agreeing to sell me these decks for a decent price. Alright, and we're getting pretty near to the end of the commons now. Again, I'm sure you've seen these all before, and there's actually a lot of overlap between the commons and the 2 decks as well, so I'm not going to go over them in detail. But they do all have that glossy finish, which is the most important thing for me. Alright, so both decks are out of the way, which means we pretty much reached the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the opening. I definitely had a lot of fun cracking these. It's not often I get to crack any kind of sealed product because I don't buy it much, and when I do, generally it doesn't make much sense to open it financially because the sealed product is just worth a lot more than what you're likely to pull from it. Which is always the case with sealed product, because if it wasn't the case, everyone would crack it open, of course. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the opening. It's definitely a little more upbeat of a video than my last one when I went through my BGS return. Now, I may still have to make another video on that topic because unfortunately things did not get any better after I made that video and then talked to Beckett about the problems. I couldn't actually believe how bad their customer service was for the whole experience. So I'm still going to try and get something out of them. And like I said, I probably will make another video about that. But aside from that, I do have other videos planned. They won't be opening videos, but other informational videos, possibly market videos. So if you guys have any ideas for what you'd like to see from future content, just put them down in the comments below. And I'll always be happy to read them and consider your suggestions. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.